You oh
Hi, everyone. Come on in. I'm here laughing with my friend this morning. We're just coming to laugh. And we're coming to have a good time and talk about something that's really important. But happy Thursday to everyone this morning.
yeah.
I want to, first of all, Diana, I have to say happy birthday to a few people.
Okay.
First of all, my bestie's friend, her birthday's today, Chandrisha Wrighton. It's the big 50. It's the year of wisdom, and she doesn't mind me saying that because she's been telling everybody this is her 50th year, okay? So, Chandrisha, happy birthday. And then I have a beautiful niece, Alicia, whose birthday is also today. Happy birthday, Alicia. Love you so much. Alicia is our firstborn grandchild in the family, and she got married in March. And so happy birthday, Alicia. I hope you have a great birthday and a great year. And then I didn't know this morning that my friend Pastor Cisco Duncan, today is your birthday. And he just wrote a book on purpose, Diana, and that's what we're talking about.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Maybe he should be here.
Yeah, Pastor Duncan, happy birthday today. His wife did a beautiful shout out to her kid this morning on Facebook. Bonita, it was gorgeous. So happy birthday to you all. And there's so many other people that I saw this morning whose birthdays are today. I just want to say happy birthday. And I want to take the time to say that, Diana, because we are talking about purpose today, and we are all born with purpose.
Yes.
We are all born with purpose. And so, I know Mark Twain says, and y'all see I'm getting, Mark Twain says that the two greatest days of our lives is the day we are born and the day we discover why.
Yes.
So everyone this morning, I have my friend, Dr. Diana Kenoly this morning, and I told her, I was talking to her about something that she was doing. And I said, Diana, we need to get on the live. And she said, yeah, Barbara, we need to get on the live. I said, you need to get on the live. Look, and I'm going to tell on her this morning. And then she tried to call me, talk about, let's pre-record. I said, oh, no, we're going to live, honey. We're going to live. I said, because you know what? Our best conversations in life come out when we're talking to our friends.
True.
And so Diana knows this. We get on the phone sometimes, and we have the deepest conversations about all different types of things. And I'll, a lot of times I'll bring up something and Diana will take it way deep. It should go way deep. But this morning Diana, we had been talking a couple of weeks ago about, you know what? And I realized, Diana, people cannot hear me. Can they hear me? Can you hear me?
I could hear you.
Okay, guys, if you can hear me, I can't hear anybody else. That's what it is. No, I have it plugged in, but it's not plugged in. Okay. I realized a couple of months ago, Diana, we were talking about Chadwick Boseman. And we were talking about his life because people were so astonished, that he passed at such a young age.
43.
Yes. 43 years old.
Yeah.
But the impact of his life and how he lived his life was the thing that was so astonishing because we realized how purposeful he was. And so we really want to talk this morning. We're just having a chat this morning about purpose and about living our lives on purpose. Diana, what do you think? When you just think about purpose, what is it that you think about? Come on in, guys, and let us know you're here. Just say hello in the chat so we can see that you're here, because I see that there are numbers on here. Let us know that you're here. Diana, what do you say about that? Just about the concept of purpose when you think about it.
So, first of all, I like the quote that you mentioned when we began by Mark Twain. And I want to add that sometimes it takes a while to find out what that is, find out what you were designed for, created for. It takes a while. So I also want to say that because I know that sometimes in life, it takes us a while to find out why we do things. But when I think about purpose, I think about how it is literally the essential part of who you are. It is the reason why you exist in a particular time.
Wow. in a particular time.
Mm-hmm. And so for every generation has got within it the solutions to the things people are complaining about in that particular time. And
Wow.
so just the very reason that you are alive and you are breathing means that there is something that you were designed to do in a particular time, regardless of where you were born, what has happened to you in life. Your design or your reason for being here does not change because of what is happening outside of you.
Oh, okay. That is good. We're going to start there. And guys, I want you to let me know that you're here because I can't see comments. I'm not seeing comments this morning for some reason. So just to say hello so that I know that you're actually here. I see that you're here, but we're communicating, okay? Because I want to ask you some questions today, and I want you to engage with us as we talk about purpose, because you really cannot talk about purpose and not engage people in that conversation of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I want, Diana, us to explore is this issue of what you just said. Thank you, Destiny, so much. Thank you so much. Let me know that she's here. Yeah. That your purpose does not change because of what's happened outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that happen to us in life.
Yeah.
And I think that, we just finished doing, Diana, the series about women leading around the world.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh my gosh. And I just enjoyed doing it. And these were some awesome women. For those of you who haven't seen it, go back and look at it. It will bless your life. But there were a lot of women in that sequence of events on the series who had things that had happened in their lives, but they are living and manifesting purpose. And so tell us more about when you say it doesn't change based on things that happen outside of you.
So whatever happens outside of us does not change what is inside of us. That is a decision that we get to make on our own by ourselves.
Wow.
So I also want to talk about whenever we go through difficulties. Every difficulty that we go through is coming along your way to shape you for what you were created to do.
Now, I'm going to use that on you, right?
Which
people collect.
When have you resisted, Barbara? When?
I know people, they collect your words, right? So I'm taking that in. I'm saying, "Ooh, that's really good." That, Diana, you absolutely right. So the next time, you're going to hear that again.
Look, you don't even have to say it because it just hit me this week on what's today, Thursday? On Tuesday, when you were talking to Karen Robinson.
Yes.
I realized, I was like, you know what? Everything that we go through, whether good or bad, is literally here to shape you for what you were designed to bring forth.
Absolutely.
And so it really gets you to rethink the things you're complaining about. Right?
And to not get stuck in those places, Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we do get a choice as to whether we live out purpose.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Based on what we do with those things.
Yes. And I think that in every season of your life, you get to ask, what am I here for? So when I talk about every season of your life, I'm talking about maybe every birthday. Maybe you're looking when you get into your 20s, you get into your 30s, you get into your 40s, you get into your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, your 100s. You always get to that place that you ask, okay, am I doing what I'm supposed to do or not? We are always asking ourselves that. And in 2020, we have asked ourselves that many times, over and over, because just this global pandemic has got us to really rethink and say, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Is my network still there?
Hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it has, I have had to ask myself that several times. because the way that I would do life and the way that I would do my work was getting on a plane, traveling,
Yes.
and so what happens when that's not your reality, not just for 1 month, not just for 2 months, but now for 6 months?
I believe, Diana, that God has called the world to stand still.
Yeah.
Take a pause for a while to really figure out some things that we actually, a lot of times, have been running from.
Mm-hmm.
Questions that we need to ask ourselves, or it's given us a chance to assess our
Yeah.
lives. I know I used to call you and say, Diana, what part of the world are you in today? What
I've
country,
been in the same part for months.
what country are you in, Diana? What continent are you on? And since COVID, she's like, I just can't wait I can't wait to get out.
I miss traveling so much, but it is what you do in the meantime that really counts. And I
Absolutely.
think for me, and just like the late Chadwick Boseman, it has been really thinking into what are the things that bring meaning to my life, and then thinking about what are the different roles that I have been called to play,
Mm-hmm.
and do they do they I guess do they do they live into who I am, or am I just playing a part?
Mm-hmm. Do I,
Mhm.
I like to think of it, Diana, as do they align with my purpose?
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of things that are out of alignment with
Hmm.
who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. And,
And yeah, and something that we should always remember is that we were designed for success. So it doesn't matter what you do, you are going to always be good at it. But then success is not enough. It gets to a point in your life that you say, success is not enough. You want to look for what is going to bring absolute impact, significance, and what is going to cause lives to be completely changed.
right. And I believe that that was God's overall design from
Yeah.
the very beginning. So,
Mhm.
I know that you're doing a piece on values, and um, this great program that you've been doing on values, and your first value was purpose. And so I want you to just walk us through a little bit today some of the principles. And I know that you use the profile for each value, and your profile, when we were talking, and I said something about Chadwick, and you said he's the person I've done the profile on for purpose. And
Yes.
that's what prompted this conversation. So
Hmm.
walk us through, first of all, what are the things, and some of the things, because this is her program, so we can't do all of it, but just walk us through some of the things in his life, because people think of him as Wakanda, which he was. They thought of him as the movies and the roles that he plays, which he was, but he was very purposeful even in that. So
Hmm.
walk us through some principles. Let's go through some principles, one by one, in reference to his life, where he exemplified, and you could tell, even not knowing him personally, that there was purpose working in his life.
So, one of the things that he was really mindful about was how he was going to use his gift. So, the one thing that a lot of people may not know is that he really just wanted to be a director and a playwright. Acting was not something that he wanted to do.
Remember that. Okay, acting is not
Right.
something he wanted to do.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so the lesson for me from that is that sometimes the thing that we are called to do can show up in one way, but it does not always end up the way that we think it is. That's why it's so important to always be developing yourself and growing yourself, because along the way, you are literally becoming who
Mm,
you're supposed to be. And that can shift.
mm,
And so so that was the one lesson that I got from him. The next thing that he was very mindful about was who he was going to represent, and he made sure that he definitely picked them very deliberately, because he was not going to take on uh, he was not going to take on something that would make a Black man look in a negative way.
Mm.
So,
Diana, that's huge.
and that meant that he said no to a lot of things.
Wow. Okay. That is huge, Diana, because, we think about that in reference to actors. And most of us would say, oh, that's great. Hi, Gloria. Most of us would say, that's great. I think that I just admire that about him. But we have those choices to make day of our lives also.
Yes.
Because there's a part, Diana, where you can sell out on yourself and who you are.
We are all actors.
Uh-oh. Now,
we are all playing a role. As a leader, you're an awesome lawyer, negotiator, mentor, coach. Those are all different things that are part of who you are. So don't limit yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right. And then one of the roles that he was given to play when he graduated was one that he did not feel aligned with who he was. And the executive producers noticed that about him, had him come in, and some of the condescending conversations was like, we really like what you're doing. Now, to me, when you say that, I'm like, okay, buckle up, right? But he began to want to know more about how did you come up with this particular man and why is he acting this way? And they said, of course, he doesn't have his dad, right? So he's like, so where is the dad? It's like, oh, but of course his dad left him when he was young.
But of course.
These are all things, or these are all narratives that are assigned to Black men, Black women. And he just didn't think that might be some lives, but it's not every life, and so the next day they let him go. And then there was a narrative about him that he was difficult.
We've heard that before.
So in you walking in what you are designed for, you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the negative things that are said about you.
I think that's important, Diana, because I think that a lot of people get caught in the negative things that are said.
Yeah.
And it takes us off track as to where we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing, and who we are. And that's why it's so important for us to consistently assess where we are, always know whose we are.
Yeah.
Understand who's in our life, who's close to us, because he had a very loyal, it seems like a very loyal circle of people in his life. Yeah. Tight, okay? Tight was, circle of people in their life. So you always have to assess. And sometimes, Diana, the changes that we need to make, we're afraid to make. But I would say to people out there, if there are changes that you need to make in your life and you're a little hesitant about making them, ask yourself this question. Will this keep me from destiny? Will it keep me from purpose?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's really what our lives are about. A friend of mine, Jimmy, I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Green. Jimmy, and I'm going to post this on my timeline this morning. I saw him post something on his timeline. And he posted on his timeline, Diana, about accumulating awards in our lives. And he had a box of awards. Jimmy is a great businessman, great community person, great father, husband. And so he accumulated all these awards over the years. And he was telling people, just be careful about the pursuit of those things. Mm-hmm. He said, because you have to be careful about what you're giving up in life for those things. And so it's very important for us. People will acknowledge us. People will clap, but everybody's not going to clap for you.
Yes.
Okay. And we need to teach our kids that everybody's not going to clap for you, Diana, but you have to live into purpose.
Oh, that is absolutely fine, because all that means is that you need to go and find where you are supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Because the world is waiting for you. That is the beauty of it all. The next thing that I learned from his life is that don't let a lack of experience stop you from pursuing your dreams. Because everybody who is doing well and has a name and is, absolutely, you like just look at them and are like, wow, will I ever be like that? They had to begin somewhere. So it is how you begin. And I think something that 2020 has taught me is that it is okay to begin again.
Wow.
Climbing the hill again. Because so it has made us all go back and say, okay, we got to go back and begin once again.
But we have to remember that, Diana, you're absolutely right. As we progress in life, we're always beginning again. The people who are afraid to begin again are people who stop growing and stop producing at some point. You look at a tree. Okay, there's a season when those apples and peaches fall from that tree, and there's a season like they have to begin again. The root is there. The root is there. The root of what you need is there. The source is there. If your source is God. But, I remember T.D. Jakes always saying, someone was asking him once about, how do you stay fresh? How do you stay on the scene? And he says, because I'm willing to go to number 10, where I'm the biggest thing in the room, and go back and then go to another room where I begin again. And I may not be 10. I'm number 1. So if you always have to understand, I'm willing to go back and start from the beginning. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are. Understanding, Diana, that every beginning again means that we take different skill sets with us. We have new experiences, knowledge, wisdom. What does that mean to begin again?
And it means that you need to learn something new.
Absolutely.
Because what you have learned so far is really good, but it's not necessary for where you need for your next and
Absolutely.
where you need to be. And so Eve, even when you get like I now move in different roles now, and it is new, and I'm like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but knowing that I am going to learn what I need to learn to be able to do what I am supposed to do.
But does that always feel, let's be real, does that always feel like feel good at the time? And I know Destiny, if you're still on here, Destiny, let us know. I know Destiny, my friend Destiny, she's young. Okay, she's a young woman, and she took on a major role, a year and a half ago or so. I don't know how long it's been. And you would look at someone her age and say, wow, how are you going to do that? And I watched her take it on, and we talked about lessons that she learned in that process. You've got to learn the lessons, but there's some pain in that sometimes, Diana. Talk to us about the pain, because there's pain. And when people experience pain, a lot of times we take flight.
Yeah.
But I always say you have to process the pain. You've got to go through the pain.
So, first of all, I give myself absolute grace to know that I don't know everything.
Number one, none of us know everything.
Right.
None of us.
And if what you have done to develop yourself so far, so we're talking about your gifts, your talents, your skills, your abilities, everything that you have done has brought you to this new and unfamiliar place,
Mm.
right? Which is what we have all said. We want, new things, would like to go higher, would like to do it bigger, would
New
like,
level.
right. Everything that is difficult is there to shape you for what you are called to do. So when I began to look at that in a different way this year, this is all about who we are going to choose to become,
Mm.
right? It is never going to be easy. And many times you might find that there'll be all these different things that come along the way, different people who make it even more difficult for you. But I've
Mm.
known this. Whatever God has for you is for you.
Whatever God has for you is for you. Diana, you said what you choose
Hmm.
to become.
Right.
So there is a choice. There's a role that we have to play. Life just doesn't happen to us.
Yeah.
There are things in life that happen that affect us, but life doesn't just happen to us. There are some choices that we have to make,
Hmm.
and those choices really are to become. You can
Right.
make a Diana is to the UN, and a lot of you know that we've been on shows together. We've talked about that before, and so when she's been in rooms very casually, she's been in big rooms, okay, in big rooms with people over the world leaders, world leaders. So you imagine at her young, tender age, going
Yeah.
into these rooms with world leaders,
Hmm.
how God has, but we know this for sure, that God set you there, that He brought you to the kingdom for such a time as this, and He has equipped you. And now what He's doing is He's pulling out of you things that you didn't even know were in you.
Right. So I am glad that you said this. So let's get real about what that process has been for me. A
Yeah,
lot of people think
that's
like
that's why I brought it up.
I went I went looking for it. I did not go looking for it. I was fine with what I was doing. In fact, I remember it was in it was 2018 December. So I do this thing where I'm like, okay, look at what the past 12 months have been like, and I'm planning for 2019. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'll do, and this voice just begins, talking. And um it was about the United Nations. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so my mind must be wandering right now, because this is not it. It was definitely not what I was thinking about. But then, because it was not what was in my mind, it was not something that I was going to look into. It was just so random. And
It wasn't random.
okay.
Guys, it wasn't random. We are having conversation this morning. This is girlfriends having conversation. These are the conversations we have. It was not random. It seemed random to her.
It
She,
seemed
she
that
received it as random.
right.
But go ahead. Okay. But it wasn't random. Go ahead.
Because I was not thinking to what the past years have been like.
Yes.
Right. So I'm just like thinking, what's the next thing that I need to do?
Not that.
And um just the the way they came to look for me. And when I found out what it was going to be, I kept quiet. I told I told one person, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not until November 2019 when I knew that, okay, for sure, because I was like, if I do not follow through with this, I don't want to, just look like I'm so doubtful in myself. And so um when the day came, I will never forget. It was November 3rd, 2019. And we're walking in, and they have this whole um you you now begin to see, like, wow, I have been called to something that I don't know how I'm going to begin.
But you don't need to know.
But something that I know for sure is that whatever God has brought you to, He will bring you through.
Absolutely.
And so I am learning right now how powerful it is to know that lives are going to depend on what you say. And right now we are talking about the youth, and that is so key. And so I am so mindful about how I am thinking about them, how I am listening to them, how I am learning, so that whatever we sit down and put together is going to be useful to them for the next 10 years.
You know, Diana, this is so huge. Because I think that, as we talked about, Chadwick, and about, how purposeful he was and intentional he was about the things that he did. So he was able to accomplish a lot in 43 years, more than most people accomplish in a lifetime, but not just randomly accomplish things. He purposely, intentionally accomplished some things and represented some people that he wanted to make sure came to the big screen.
Right.
So that, Black boys and Black girls, and even our society at large, no matter what color or ethnicity you are, that you understand that there's greatness in this community. So there's a message there through all that he did. And then I look at you with the UN, and I just think about that God has not even revealed yet all of it, of what it is that he wants you to do. But there's something that's very important, and I want to spend some time talking about this for a few minutes. And that is, Diana, the people in your life who are in your life are extremely important to you getting to where you need to go, or where God intended for you to go. So I want you to talk about that. And I want you also to tell us about the importance of believing in ourselves and what's within us. You started out saying, we look for stuff outside of ourselves. So talk about people and the importance of us believing in ourselves.
So, and
hi, BC.
Environment is so key. So key, because who you let talk into your life and what you listen to over and over and over again is going to define how you are going to live out your life. So it is so key. I don't tell too many people what I am doing. I don't even tell, because I am very mindful about the things God wants me to do. And if I am not sure about what I'm supposed to do, I do not want someone else to say something that is going to absolutely kill it.
But see, okay. So I agree with that. I agree that there are times when we don't reveal what it is that we're doing. Because I think there's a time, Diana, that you're talking about is what I call the backside of the mountain. Right. When God's talking to Diana, okay? And he's revealing things to you, and you're initially like, what? And sometimes it takes that time for us to just be able to really receive and say, yes, God, okay. But I think that there then and I've seen this even in your own life, that there becomes a time when he sends people into your life.
Okay, yeah.
To make sure, and to hold you accountable for what you know you need to say yes to. Right. Not so that they tell you what to say yes to. And that's what your point is. And I think that's a valid point. They're not to tell you what to say yes to. They are to hold you accountable to what you said yes to.
So you should never let what someone else says to you direct your life. What they say to you must resonate with what is already inside of you.
What if I
So
don't know what's inside of me?
that is your work. That is your job to figure out what is inside of you. No one else can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You and only you can do that work.
This is what I do believe, though. I do believe there are people who have come into my life. Tanya Robertson is one of those people that will resonate what's inside of you, like Elizabeth and Mary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's why I think that, as we're talking about purpose, why there are a lot of people who don't reach purpose, because you cannot reach purpose in a vacuum. And that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about knowing the right time to be alone in that place where you need to cultivate some things. But then you need to have a circle of people who are there to hold you accountable, not to say, you should do this, that, the other, but to say, I thought you told me. See, I always tell people what you told me. Oh, this is what you told me. So when I'm reminding you of something, it's like, that's what you told me. Now, if that's changed, and it can change,
it can.
That's fine. But I have found for me that accountability is really key in my life. And I've seen people, Diana, who are walking through life. They have big purpose in them. Perfect. And they're saying, why hasn't it manifested? One of the things, though, I think you have to look at, well, who are the people in your life that are up close?
Right. So for me, it works backwards. So I need to know what is inside me first.
Mm-hmm.
And as I begin to share with who I think is meant to be in my circle, then those that are not meant to be there are literally going to fall away.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And those that are supposed to remain are going to be there and walk alongside you.
Now, there are some people, Diana. I'm going to tell you this because I lived a little bit longer. Okay? I lived just a little bit longer, quite a bit longer, y'all. But there are some people who fall away. You are absolutely fine. And there's some people, Diana, they're not going anywhere unless you make the choice to walk away.
Right. So you get to that place as well. I have got to that place.
There, Diana.
I have got to that place over and over again.
Which place? Where you've had to.
Yeah. Well, you have to decide and say that voice is gonna be there, but it's not gonna be the loudest voice.
There are voices, Diana, that have to be there. Sometimes you can't hear, and all the time it's not a voice, Diana, that's adverse to you. Sometimes it's not a voice that's adverse to you. It's people you like. It's people you love.
Okay, so
okay, it's not. I'm not talking about just adverse voices.
So I am so glad that you brought that up. Okay, because it is the difference between reasonable and unreasonable expectations. Sometimes those that are there that you love so much just cannot see what is inside of you. Right? And you know that because every time you tell them what it is you're supposed to do, what you're called to do, what is happening, that you don't get that support that you need. Now, you continuing to expect them to get what you're supposed to be doing, that's an unreasonable expectation.
So, and this is key, because a lot of people, Diana, stop there. Because I know this person loves me, and I know they want the best for me, or they, and they think they're protecting me, all right, with your unrealistic expectations, Yeah. Diana, you're going to the world unrealistic. So I know that people love me. But that's why it's important. And I just want to say this to everyone. That's why it's important for you to develop
relationships. Yeah.
Relationships are key. If you think about where you are now, Diana, in the rooms that you're in now, there are relationships that you are going to be developing.
Yeah.
That are definitely a part of your destiny. They are there to help you get to purpose. So when I look at people in my life, I say, why is this person here? We don't ask ourselves that. People just drift in. And I had a point in my life, people just drift in. You're nice to everybody. I think we are called to be kind to everyone, but everyone is not a destiny circle person.
Okay, so let me talk about you. You and I have got all of these all of these different. I hope everyone noticed the look that came across Barbara's face when I said that. I hope I love that this is live.
What is she going to say? Okay,
right. And how there are many times that I have got things that I need to get done, and I'm like, Barbara, I don't know how I'm going to do this, and it is just. And I think I posted something about this a couple of days ago. Just knowing that I can pick up the phone and say, Barbara, I have to give this talk right now. Do you have time? Just, listen in, let me know. Now, I know that you will tell me the absolute truth, right? But I love the way that you do that, because you will let me know what is absolutely great. And then you will let me know what can be changed around. Now, that's what I need right now. So what I would say is that get out of that place of thinking that those that cannot see the thing that you have been assigned to are not there, or don't make that the main thing. The main thing is for you to deliver what is inside you.
Absolutely.
So it is your job to go and find those that are going to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Many times talking about what you are doing and how you are doing it gets those that are supposed to come alongside you. Come. And
all right.
Yeah.
Diana, all right, stop there, because I think this is key. Because I hear a lot of people say, I don't tell people what I'm doing because I don't want people to steal my stuff. I'm not going to tell people. Well, first of all, that's a very, that mindset is a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to tell them because I don't want them to steal it. You have more in you. And what Diana has in her, you can try to duplicate it, but you'll never be able to steal it. Karen talked the other night about the root. Give away the fruit.
Yeah.
But the root of who you are is there. Nobody can steal that. Okay?
Let me tell you what helped me. The moment
Tell us.
Okay. The moment I began to develop myself.
Yes.
It was so much work. I did not have time to do anything else. And so whenever I meet different individuals, I know that God would not bring me to a place to waste my time. So I have that.
Go ahead, Diana. Oh, this part. Okay, this part's coming. Okay, go ahead.
I have that level of trust. And so because I know how hard I work on myself, I can absolutely appreciate what someone else brings to the table being different from what I bring. Because I expect God to lead me into places where people are doing the same or even better than I am.
Even better. Wow.
Right. And I know that wherever I will go, I'm going to learn something.
Right.
Because I never walk in a room, sit at a table thinking that I am the best.
No. You just need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So when you work on yourself and you know how hard, just how much time and effort you put in, you have no time to even think about what someone is doing to your left or your right, behind you or before you.
You stay out of the petty stuff.
Right.
You stay out of what I always tell my sister. You stay off of Pettyville Lane. Some of us need to move, Diane. You know, I'm a realist, okay? I'm a D person out. Some people need to move off of Pettyville Lane.
Yes.
If you get caught on Pettyville Lane has a whole subdivision. It's in the whole neighborhood, you know.
Yeah. So when I encounter those people, I think maybe I'm getting older, right? Is that I'm like,
And
okay,
what is she getting ready to attribute with getting older? Okay, what, Diana?
no, it is a good thing. I think you get to a place where you begin to determine what am I going to listen to and what am I not going to listen to, because that again is a choice that you make.
Yes.
You
Yes.
get to decide what you listen to, who you listen to, and because I know that that's in my power, I choose wisely.
Yes. Let me ask you this though. How do you choose wisely though? Because Diana, there are things and people and situations that come into our life that look good, that are not good for us. People have been in relationships that look good, but they're not good for them. They've been in business relationships, personal relationships. We've had circumstances that look good because people don't go into things that don't look good generally. But then after we get in, we realize it's not good for us. How do you tell and how do you choose wisely?
So,
BC said discernment.
Right.
Dr. O said decide who you listen to. Absolutely.
Oh, look at them. They're here. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Oh, hey, BC.
How do you choose wisely? I think discernment is key.
Wisely,
I just want
to advise other people.
No. Well, I'm hoping that how you choose is how you advise other people to choose. So
not
it kind of should align, but how do you choose? How do you choose wisely?
Okay, so this I apply to when I'm talking to somebody. If I'm looking at, if someone sends me a text message, an email, I look for 6 or 7 things.
Ooh, that's a lot. Okay, go ahead. That's a whole lot.
That's why I had to ask you. I'm like, okay, so you want me to say how I do it or not?
Just go through the line and tell us what the 6 7 is.
So I'm looking, is there wisdom? Is there understanding? Are they experienced? Are they proficient? Are they excellent? And are they intelligent?
Wow. Okay.
Because then that's going to determine whether or not I will respond and how I'm going to respond. So because those are 7 things that I am very particular about in 2020, then I'm not going to respond to everything.
Absolutely. Hi, Joan. Nice to have you on. Well, let me say this. I have one question. The first thing that I look for.
Okay.
When people are dealing with me, I look for how they treat the least of them.
Oh.
But BC was talking about discernment. I think discernment is it's a spiritual, it's an intuitive thing. And I think that those of us who are people of faith, we have that discernment. And I think even people who are not have an intuitiveness about them, if you're tuned into that. But I also then look and I'm going to get back to your list because that's a good list. But I look to see how does this person treat the least of them. I've been places, and I'll be honest with you, I've been places where people treat me very well. They treat me well because, she's an evangelist, she's an attorney, she's this, she's that, she has this title, that title. They treat Dr. Diana Kenoly well because she's a UN ambassador. And if I'm not careful, I can put my eye on that, but I'm also looking to my left and to my right to see how they're treating who they consider to be the least of them, because that tells me about the depth of their character. I've never been a person who thought oh, they treat them bad, but they treat me well. They're well. But the
Yeah.
question for me is why.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that people leave clues
Yeah.
as to who they are. And Diana, people will tell you who they are every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, a lot of times, we don't believe them.
Yeah.
They will tell you who they are by what they do. You can say you love me all day, every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do? How does that show up? So I think the wisdom, you said the discernment, all the knowledge, the excellence. Because see, that person can show up. Let me tell you all something. A person can show up in your life. Give me that list again, Diane.
So they have to be, is there wisdom in what they do and say? Is there understanding? Are they proficient? Are
Mm-hmm.
they experienced? Are they excellent? Are they intelligent? And are they discreet?
Mm. Oh, you
Right?
added that one.
No, no, no. They
Did
were
you have that
all.
one? Are they just? I love those. I
So,
love
so,
those.
so I I picked that, and if there was one thing that I can share is that think about where you are going and
Mm-hmm.
who you are to become,
Mm-hmm.
and think of how you respond, how you act, how you interact, and think about if you had to look back
Mm.
5 years, 3 years, would you be absolutely proud about what you said?
Wow.
That's one. The next part is for where you are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Who were you supposed to become?
Mm.
What are things that you want to carry with you? So I took some time this year to come up with this list.
Well, this is what I love. This is what I love about you, because Diana has her list now. You know, she has a list. So and she lives them out. I love that you live into your list. Um, and that's how Diana has. You have a program that you've been doing on values.
Mhm.
And this is what I want to say about this, because I remember when you first talked to me about it, I thought, oh, this is fabulous. Because let me tell you something. There are, and this is what we don't want to talk about a lot of times. There are sheep. You know what I get ready to say?
Yep, yep. I know it. Say it.
In wolf's clothing
Mhm.
that will show up in your life, and you have to have someone. You have to have something to measure it by. We can say all this other stuff, but you have to have something to measure it by. So, you know, like I always tell people, you have different mentors in your life. Some mentors in your life are good for business. They're not really good for personal relationships. I wouldn't take, I wouldn't take advice from them personal relationships. But the Bible says you will know them by their fruit.
Mhm.
And we have to be careful in this season in our lives to define what the fruit is. Because your fruit, in terms of people applauding you,
Yeah,
you're
just take that
speaking
a little
excellent.
bit. Yeah,
Yes, you're speaking
just take that
excellently.
a little bit. Yeah.
All of that, you're being knowledgeable. You're being able, all that fruit can show up.
Mhm.
You ever bite into an apple that looks real good, and then you bite into it and you see it's rotten on the inside?
You just throw it out. Yeah. Mhm.
So what I'm saying is this values piece that you've done and that you're walking people through is critical, because if we take this values piece, Diana, and align our lives by it, we are
Yeah.
also able to make critical judgments in our life that will lead us to purpose. So tell us a little bit about the program. I want to know about the program that you're doing, because I think it's excellent. And I think when people come through that program, they are going to have clarity in their thought process
Mhm.
about even how to make some decisions in their lives about where they go, what they do, how they align themselves. Tell us about your program.
So this is around 12 leadership values, and I just thought about how 2020 began really hard, just unexpected, and how for the past 6 months, right? We've been, trying to think how we're gonna maneuver. What do we do here? Are we doing the right things? And it just reminded me that we need to go back to our center, our core. And it is from that place that we can begin to decide how to move ahead or how to move back. Maybe you might move to the side and all that stuff, but going back to who you are. Now, sometimes we have not thought through that and we've just been doing life day by day. But if there is one thing that I am learning, is that going back to who you are at the center is always going to help you to make up your mind in how you're going to move, be it if you're going to move back, or how you're going to move to 2021. So it is a 6-month program. We're going over 12 values, and we do 2 each month. You get a recording of that. I really wanted it to be that way because you're really going to peel back a lot of layers. There's some deep questions that you get to ask about
deep.
yourself. Really, really, really deep. And Barbara and I were talking about this, and she looked at it and she's like, Diana, and I'm like, I would
say it's a master class, but to say that doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it. Let me say, I've looked at this. This program is robust.
Right.
It is not for the faint-hearted. Mm-hmm. It is for that person where you really are at a point where you want to pursue purpose in your life, and you want to know exactly before you get out into this place where you're trying to go and encounter things and people that you're not ready for. This program of values will give you a blueprint of how to make right decisions. And so I said to Diana, I said, ooh, Diana, it is robust. It is very well thought out. It is very well done. And for each principle or value that you have, Diana, you've chosen a person to do a profile to match that.
Yes, because I think it's because leadership is relational. Leadership is not theoretical. And so I wanted everyone to be able to relate to someone and to see themselves was number one. I just thought about what has brought me to this place. And I remember January of 2018. And this thought came to me: how are we using our brands of faith to become and to provide solutions to the things that we are complaining about? It is one thing to complain about something. If you complain, you remain. But it is completely different if you begin to think about, okay, how can I become, or how can I provide the solution to this thing that absolutely aggravates me? And so in this time, this is the best time. If you've had to rethink everything, let's get back to what our values are.
And let me tell you why this is important. For those of you out there who are searching, you're looking, it's an introspective time for you. I think it is for all of us.
It is.
There's some critical decisions we have to make going into this last quarter of the year. And those decisions are going to set the blueprint, Diana, for 2021.
Yeah.
And you have to do it with people. You cannot do it without people. You just can't. So I want to challenge people to move from the place of isolation, because there are a lot of people that are in isolation. Move from the place of isolation into a community of people that can help you get where you're going. I'm going to recommend, and y'all know when I recommend something, it's good. It's great. It's excellent. I'm going to recommend Diana's program because not only do I know the content of the program, but I know the person who's delivering it. And I know the thoughtfulness. She won't say this, but I know the thoughtfulness. I know the time. Like, girl, what are you still doing up? I know the time,
doing
the
those
effort,
4 a.m. no sleep
that she has put into it. So it's because let's be honest. There are a lot of people that do have a lot of different things for us to choose from. We have a lot of choices in the marketplace, a lot of great choices in the marketplace.
Yeah.
But I believe the motive or the heart by which something is done reflects in what's manifested from.
Yeah.
I do. So I want to applaud you for the program you're doing. I know your first value was purpose.
Yes.
And you chose that as the first, because you got great values in this program. But why did you choose the first value as purpose? Why did you choose purpose as first value?
Because I was very aware, even in myself, of how I was going back to think, okay, am I doing what I am supposed to do? And I don't think that we can move ahead without going back to who we are. You have got to get back to who you are and begin to build from that point.
And that's a lot of layers. That's a lot of layers. Because sometimes we have to unpeel some layers. And we have to be willing to be in places where people will look us in the face and tell us the truth. I believe in truth. You have to have a truth teller. That can't be everybody in your life. But there has to be somebody who can look at you in the face and tell you the truth. And sometimes it stings. But it is necessary to your purpose. It is necessary to your purpose. Diana, is there anything else you want to tell people? Tell the people. I'm assuming people can still join the program.
Oh, you can absolutely do it because you get to do most of the work by yourselves. And you need to, and it is so important to do that because every foundation that you build, you have got to be in it. Because
wait! Don't gloss over that. Don't gloss over that, girl. See, Diana, I have to listen very carefully when she talks because she'll just say something and she'll just go. Don't gloss over that. What did you say? You have to. What did you say? Do you remember what you said? You have to be in it.
No, so I said that that everything that you build, you have got to be at the center of it.
Ooh.
So one thing, you should never let someone who does not look like you make decisions about you. So figure out who you are, what you are called to, what is your calling? And then you can begin to say, okay, what do I have? What don't I have? It's that simple. And then what am I going to do about getting what I don't have? And come up with a definite plan of how you are going to walk through it.
Wow.
Right? The next thing is, I think you and I were talking yesterday. There was this meme that I saw on social media that talked about the sheep. Sheep always go around absolutely afraid of the wolf, not realizing that it is the shepherd that is going to kill you and ultimately eat you.
Diana, that's a whole other live to unpack that. Just that. Look, listen. We're getting ready to end in a few minutes. What do you mean by no, you can't just leave that. What do you mean by that?
So I think that it is time that we begin to recognize, what does my voice sound like?
Ooh.
Who am I essentially? Who has God called me to sound like? What is that message that I am called to deliver in my lifetime?
Wow.
Now I say that, but what not many people know is that I suffered with a severe speech impediment for 26 years of my life. Right? And so me talking about recognizing what your message is, and it's kind of it's kind of
It is God. It is God designed. God
Mhm.
purpose. I told her, I said, God has given, he's given you the blueprint in the Bible. He has given you the blueprint.
Right. And then here I am, I'm at the United
Speaking to nations.
and I have to pinch myself every single time, like, this really happening? We're sitting here and we're going to determine what is going to happen to the lives of youth around the world, not just in one nation. You're now there sitting down determining what is their life going to look like? What are you going to give to them? And it has to be something that is going to literally transform their lives. So it makes me nervous at the power that we have. But then again, I begin to recognize that God puts us in these places for a reason.
Absolutely. And let me say this, Diane. We never need to be nervous about power. We need to be nervous about misused power.
Okay.
And if we stay in alignment with God, we won't misuse our power. Because what we understand is that this place that he has set you in, he had set you in that place before your mother even knew you.
Yeah.
And so he has a purpose and a plan that is so big and has not even yet been revealed. And the people and the places where you are now, you say, I have to pinch myself and say, God, well,
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for you about knowing 5 years from now when you look up and you say, Lord, how did I get here? How did I get here? But also knowing that even as I listened to you a few minutes ago, your whole energy shifted when you start talking about the youth and you start talking about the UN. Your whole energy shifted. It was like, woo! Because that's your purpose. You were born for this.
And thank you for saying that. And I cannot neglect those that have walked alongside me. My mom, oh my goodness, she is there all of the time. What are you doing? What do you need?
I love it.
Yeah. And then I've got my mentors. Then I have you that I'm so grateful for. And then I have people like BC, Dr. O. I've got people like
hey, girl.
Porter, and just amazing. Just knowing that I'm not doing this by myself.
No.
And when you do something, remember to take other people along.
Absolutely, Diane. But. Take people along with you. But just remember, no, Diane, because I want us to be real, okay? Take people along with you. Mm-hmm. But you must discern whether or not the people you want to take are ready to be in that room.
Yeah.
There are some rooms that they are able to go in with you. And this is the maturity of the people who are around you. There may be a room where I said, oh, Diane's not taking me into that room. Well, you know what? This room, Barbara, you can't go into with Diana. But I'm gonna stand outside the room and I'm gonna pray for her. We have to hear this and get to this point. I'm gonna stand outside that room and I'm gonna pray for Diana. I'm gonna lift her up. I'm gonna edify her. I can't go into this particular room with her. Yeah. And then there are other rooms. It's like, come on, Barbara, let's go. Mm-hmm. But you've got to know that when you get to that point, though, I mean, those are destiny people. That's all I'm saying.
So the most amazing thing about this is that I get to design what my life's work is going to be. Yes. I don't have to wait.
Yes.
So that has been a real gift for me to like get to say, okay, I get to design what my life's work is going
Absolutely.
to be. Now there's so many invitations that are coming my way. Some of them I'm like, I'm just not going to open that right now and say I did not see it. But talking about
What you say? What you say?
never mind, you'll catch it when
Oh, I heard what you said.
no, but there are so many things and you can't say yes to everything. And so
Go ahead.
yeah, and so for me, women, leadership, youth are my three main things for this year.
Leadership, women, and youth.
Right.
Wonderful.
Because I am very mindful that the leaders that I want to develop right now are in their 20s and their 30s, because we have got a dead 2030.
That's okay, y'all. If y'all 40, 50, y'all still got purpose. Diana just doesn't want to work with you. I'm just kidding. This is important, though. I'm teasing, but she knows her avatar. She knows who she's supposed to be working with.
But let me tell you why. All of this complaining that we've been doing, that I have been doing, of like we're such terrible people in power and all that stuff, it's because if you sit down and you say, in 10 years' time, who is going to be leading me?
Yes.
Because you're not going to be where
that's exactly right.
Look,
who's going to be leading me? Who's going to be taking care of me in the hospital? Who's going to be? You're absolutely right, Diana. Those are the people that you're working with now. So listen, we are praying for you. And I am serious.
But wait. Let me tell you why. Because though we might have received a nation from our parents that we did not have a say in, we are absolutely responsible for what we are going to leave for the next generation.
And I'm a true believer,
right? And
that every generation adds something to the masterpiece.
Exactly.
I'm a believer in that. I gotta say that, Diana. I'm a believer in that. Every generation.
And it is not going to be how did we get here. It's going to be what did you do to get us
right,
here.
Joe. That's right.
Right.
What did you do to get us here?
Yeah, and I want to be able to say, hey, this is what I absolutely did.
That's right. And I'm here to represent Joan, the generation that says, and this is what I did. Okay.
Right.
I always, you know what? Listen, when you think about traditionalists who are like in their 80s and 70s or so, and then my generation after that comes along and says, oh yeah, this is what we did in my generation. Every generation has a responsibility. You said something at the very beginning, which I think is key, that, you're called for such a time, as this. You're in the earth for such a time as this. So I kind of laugh about it, but I always bring this back to, because I want us always to remember that we have a responsibility to this generation. Diana, you are absolutely right. We have a responsibility to this generation. And you're the person, one of the people that God's chosen to lead this generation and to develop this generation. But we all have a role and we all have a responsibility. God has just elevated you to this place of leadership where you really get to craft and to help craft what we're going to see around the world with youth.
And that's
exciting.
That is exciting, but you cannot take it lightly.
And you know what, Diana, you don't. And the reason I know you don't is because of the thought. I hear the conversations that, other people. I feel a lot of times when I talk to you, the weight.
Yes, the weight of the responsibility.
But he has given staff and he has given you a mantle. And what you need in order to accomplish what he wants you to do is already inside of you. And as long as you continue to grow and develop, that is going to come forth. That is going to come forth. So I just want to say I'm proud of you. You know, Diana and I laugh, you know, with each other a lot, but I am so proud of the work that you are doing. I really am. You give other young people the permission to dream. And not only the permission to dream, Diane, but the permission to dream, because it has to start with I can dream. But then you set the example for them in terms of how they can move from a dream to a manifestation. And I honor you today, my friend, because of that. So we are praying for you because you are on an international front in the UN, representing a generation and a people that are some that are under marginalized in terms of women, and then a youth that we cannot forget that they are the leaders of today. What are your last words you want people to know and what you want them to remember today?
Oh, so many. I think the most important thing is that never let anybody tell you what you cannot do. Never let anybody tell you what you cannot do. And the next thing is that when those around you cannot relate to what you're saying or cannot see what you are called to do, or maybe even might say things to you that may not be great,
encouraging.
Yeah. Take that time to absolutely push through and ask yourself, what am I here for? Who am I here to be? Once you're absolutely clear on that, move forward. I think that you definitely owe it to yourself and to everybody in this world to bring forth what is within you.
Diana, how can people reach you?
Connect at dianakenoly.org. And join the program is
That's
another
it.
thing. Yeah. Because more than anything, and take the time to think about what you are going to do over the next year. And then come up with no. You put the email and the website together. So
that's what you said it. That's what you said. Okay, tell me what it is. Just tell me how they can get you want to go to your website?
If they want to get on the program, it is dianakenoly.org.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that there is over 7 billion people on this planet. Somebody is going to like you. Somebody is going to want what is within you. Your job and the work that we get to do is to develop ourselves. And that work, you're the only one that can do it. And just like the Bible says, your gifts will open doors for you and lead you to great men and women, important places. So we don't do our work for the notoriety. You do it because you know that there are lives that you have that are waiting. You do it because it is what is good in your hand to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Diana, thank you. Dr. Kenoly, thank you so much. Listen, guys, I want you to go and to look at Diana's program because you have to attach yourself to a place in this season. And not just any place. I'm talking about a good place. A place where you can be cultivated. And it is going to be work. It is going to be work. Yes, it's going to be work. Because purpose requires work. Okay? And so, but as Diana said, there are people who are waiting to hear your voice. And wherever that is, they are waiting to hear your voice. So I want you to go, and I want you to go and join her program. It is a robust program. It's wonderful. It is, you can sit and you can listen into the program and then get coached through it. The coaching, what's the name of the program, Diana?
2020 Vision, Your Leadership Values in Focus.
2020 Vision,
Mm-hmm.
Your Leadership Values in Focus.
Yes. So we want to look at what is in your core and can we look at it through a lens and see it absolutely clearly. And what you don't
2020.
like, you can absolutely change and you get to design your empowered life.
Wow.
No one else does that for you.
No one can do it for you.
Yeah.
No one can do it. But Diana can give you the tools to be able to do that.
Tools together. Let us grow together.
Yes.
And October 11th is the International Day of the Girl Child.
International Day of the Girl Child.
Mm-hmm. And so there is some awesome things that are going to be there. Barbara is going to be speaking at one of the United Nations side events, so that's going to be awesome.
I'm just glad she let me in the room.
Oh, Barbara, leading at this level looks very different. And I say that because sometimes you have got to just lay aside everything that you know.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, what I know is not even going to be worth it here.
Absolutely.
And then just listen, learn, and then lead.
And she can say that because she learned the value of those things. And that's why these values are so important. That's why values are so important. So those of you who have an ear to hear, I'm gonna let you hear this morning that really seriously connect this season. Let this be the season. And some of you may say, well, I know what my values are. Faith without works is dead. Right, Vanessa? Thank you. Faith without works is dead. We can have all the faith in God, but God is looking for us to move and to do something. And we manifest in our movement. So you've got to move and you've got to put some work in. You've got to do it. And there's nothing, people say, oh, I kind of know my values are, etc. It's one thing to kind of have an idea of what your values are until someone comes in and helps you look into your life and speak into those values. And then you live the values out. You really live the values out.
And sometimes we live out of alignment with who we are.
Yes. Yes, we do. And so here's a mirror for you. And Diana's going to have you look in this mirror. And she's not going to beat you. She's going to present to you these values. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be able to see that where you're out of alignment. And she's going to help you come into alignment into these values. Diana, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me put you on the hook today. And
yes. Even though this is supposed to be pre-recorded, like
no, it wasn't. No, because I wouldn't have been able to get the feedback from these beautiful people this morning. Thank you all, BC and Vanessa and Joan and Dr. O and all the other people, Destiny, because you were the first one on the line. All the people that were on the line this morning. Thank you. Pass this on with someone so that they have an opportunity also to be able to join the program. Miss Diana, Dr. Kenoly, I love to say Dr. Kenoly, have a great day.
I still have to get used to that, but I will take it.
Yes, live into your purpose and be the queen you are. Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been amazing.